Family. Can I talk to the part of you that's been fighting battles no one else can see? The part of you that smiles in public but wrestles with fear, doubt, and exhaustion in private. I know it feels heavy. I know it feels like the pressure keeps rising and the storm refuses to calm down. But what if I told you that the very battle you're trying to escape is the place where your strength is being built? Sometimes we think the struggle means we're losing. We think the resistance means we're failing. But many times the battle is not there to break you. It's there to build you. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment when you had to stand up even though you felt like giving up, those moments are shaping a stronger version of you. Because pressure has a purpose, pain has a process, and the fight you're in today is producing a strength in you that you didn't even know you had. So if you feel tired, if you feel stretched, if you feel like life has been asking too much from you lately, this message is for you. Because the battle you're fighting right now is producing a stronger you. Ox in confidence today once walked through seasons of doubt. Every person who carries wisdom today once walked through seasons of confusion. The battle has a way of stripping away the things that are not necessary. Sometimes when life gets difficult, it reveals who is truly for you and who is only around when things are easy. It reveals what really matters and what never deserved your energy. It reveals the parts of you that need healing and the parts of you that are stronger than you realized. There are moments in life when the pressure feels overwhelming. Moments when you feel like you cannot take another step forward. Moments when you question whether you have the strength to keep fighting. But those are often the very moments when your character is being formed the most. Because strength is not built when everything is going right. Strength is built when everything feels uncertain and you still choose to move forward. Sometimes the battle is teaching you discipline. Sometimes it is teaching you patience. Sometimes it is teaching you to trust when you cannot see the outcome. And sometimes the battle is simply revealing the power that was already placed inside of you long before the struggle began. Many people underestimate themselves because they focus on how difficult the battle feels instead of recognizing how much they have already survived. They forget that every obstacle they faced in the past helped prepare them for the moment they are standing in today. The strength they are searching for is often already growing within them through the very fight they are trying to escape. When pressure enters your life, it has a way of forcing growth. It pushes you beyond the limits you once believed were permanent. It challenges your fears. It stretches your faith. It demands that you become someone stronger than the person you were before the battle began. There are things inside of you that will never fully develop until you are tested. Courage is discovered when fear is present, but you refuse to surrender. Perseverance is discovered when quitting feels easier, but you keep moving forward. Resilience is discovered when life knocks you down and you decide to rise again. The battle may feel uncomfortable, but discomfort often signals growth. Muscles grow through resistance. Character grows through adversity. Faith grows through uncertainty. And the person you are becoming is being shaped in the middle of the very struggle you wish would disappear. Sometimes the greatest transformation happens quietly. While you are fighting to get through another day, something inside you is changing. Your perspective begins to shift. Your tolerance for negativity becomes smaller. Your confidence slowly begins to rise because you realize that every difficult moment you survived proved that you are stronger than your fears. The battle begins to sharpen your awareness. You start to recognize your own resilience. You begin to understand that strength is not about never feeling weak. Strength is about continuing to move, even when weakness tries to slow you down. There are people who will look at your life later and admire your strength, but they will never fully understand the battles that created it. They will see the confidence, but not the nights of doubt. They will see the courage, but not the moments when fear tried to silence you. They will see the victory, but not the private fights you had to win inside your own mind, the battle is shaping a stronger mindset. It is teaching you how to stand when circumstances try to shake you. It is teaching you how to believe even when the outcome is unclear. It is teaching you that you are not defined by the obstacles you face, but by the determination you carry while facing them. Every difficult season carries the potential to produce something powerful inside of you. The struggle can either convince you to quit, or it can awaken a strength you never realized you had. And many times the difference is simply the decision to keep going one more step, even when the path feels uncertain, because the battle is not just an obstacle in your life. It is part of the process that is shaping who you are becoming. It is developing endurance. It is refining your character. It is strengthening your faith. And in the middle of the fight, you are slowly transforming into someone who is stronger, wiser, and more resilient than the person who first entered the battle. Pressure has a way of making us uncomfortable. It pushes against our limits, stretches our patience, and forces us into moments where we feel like we might break. Many people spend their lives trying to avoid pressure, thinking that a life without difficulty is the sign of peace. But pressure often reveals something powerful about who you truly are. It reveals the strength that was already placed inside you long before the struggle began. Most of us underestimate our own capacity because we have never been tested in a way that demanded more from us. When life is calm and everything is predictable, it is easy to believe that our abilities are limited. We stay within familiar boundaries, doing what feels safe and comfortable. But pressure has a way of pushing you beyond the version of yourself you thought was permanent. There is a reason why diamonds are formed under intense pressure. The very force that looks destructive is the same force that creates something valuable and strong. Without pressure, the transformation would never take place. In many ways, life works the same way. The difficult seasons that challenge you are often the same seasons that reveal your hidden strength. Sometimes pressure enters your life through unexpected challenges. It might come through disappointment, loss, uncertainty, or responsibilities you never planned for. In those moments, it can feel overwhelming. You may question whether you are capable of handling what is in front of you. You may wonder why life feels heavier than you expected, but pressure has a way of awakening abilities you did not know you possessed. When circumstances demand courage, you begin to discover courage. When situations require patience, you begin to develop patience. When obstacles force you to keep moving forward, perseverance begins to grow within you. Many people do not realize how strong they are until life gives them no other option but to be strong. The pressure forces a decision. Either you allow the weight of the situation to convince you to give up, or you rise and discover that there is more resilience inside you than you ever imagined. Pressure also exposes what we rely on. When life is easy, it is possible to depend on distractions, comfort, or other people's opinions to guide us. But when pressure arrives, those things often fade away. The situation becomes too serious for superficial solutions. In those moments, you begin to look deeper. You begin to rely on inner strength, faith, discipline, and determination. There is something powerful about realizing that the strength you needed was already placed inside you. Sometimes we search outside ourselves for answers, encouragement or validation, believing that someone else must give us the power to continue. But pressure often teaches a different lesson. It shows you that the courage you were looking for has been growing quietly within you all along. The human spirit has an incredible ability to adapt. When pressure increases, something within us begins to adjust. Our thinking becomes sharper, our focus becomes clearer. We begin to prioritize what truly matters. The distractions that once consumed our time lose their importance. Because the situation demands a stronger version of us, pressure also reveals your values. When life becomes difficult, you start to understand what you truly believe and what you are willing to stand for. The things that once seemed important may no longer hold the same weight. Your priorities begin to shift toward growth, purpose, and resilience. There are moments when pressure will test your confidence. You may face situations where doubt tries to convince you that you are not capable. The voice of fear may grow louder, reminding you of past failures or uncertainties about the future. But pressure also creates opportunities to challenge those voices. Every time you push through a difficult moment, you gather evidence that you are stronger than your fears. Every obstacle you face becomes proof that you are capable of handling more than you once believed. Slowly, your mindset begins to change. The situations that once intimidated you begin to feel manageable. Because you have already survived similar challenges, pressure also teaches discipline. When life is easy, it is tempting to delay growth or avoid responsibility. But when circumstances demand action, discipline becomes necessary. You begin to develop habits that strengthen your character. You learn to keep moving forward even when motivation disappears. The interesting thing about pressure is that it often reveals strength gradually. The process is not always dramatic or immediate. Sometimes the change happens quietly through small decisions made every day. Choosing to keep going, choosing to learn from mistakes, choosing to rise again after disappointment. Each of those choices adds another layer of strength to your character. Over time, the person you are becoming begins to look very different from the person you were before the pressure arrived. Many people look back on the hardest seasons of their lives and realize that those moments shaped them in ways comfort never could. The challenges forced them to grow emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. They discovered abilities, resilience, and wisdom that would have remained hidden if life had always stayed easy. Pressure also deepens empathy. When you have walked through difficult seasons, you develop a greater understanding of other people's struggles. You become more patient with those who are fighting their own battles. You become more compassionate because you know what it feels like to carry weight that others cannot see. There is a hidden strength that emerges when you realize you have survived more than you thought possible. That realization changes the way you approach future challenges. Instead of immediately assuming defeat, you begin to approach obstacles with a different mindset. You remember the battles you already fought and the resilience that carried you through them. Pressure has a way of refining character. It removes illusions about who we think we are and reveals who we truly are when circumstances become difficult. It shows whether we respond with courage or surrender, perseverance or avoidance, growth or resistance. And while pressure can feel uncomfortable, it often carries the power to reveal the best version of you. The strength that was placed inside you begins to surface when life demands more than comfort ever required. The courage that once felt distant begins to appear in your decisions. The resilience that once seemed impossible begins to shape the way you move forward, because pressure is not only about the weight you feel in the moment, it is also about the strength that is being uncovered through every challenge you face. It is about the hidden potential that rises when life refuses to remain easy. It is about the quiet realization that even in your most difficult moments, there is a power within you that refuses to disappear. Sometimes when we go through struggles, the first question that rises in our hearts is why? Why is this happening to me? Why is this season so difficult? Why does it feel like every step forward is followed by another obstacle? In those moments, it is easy to believe that the struggle has no purpose, that the challenges are simply interruptions in the life we hope to live. But many times the struggles we face are not interruptions at all. They are preparation for something greater that lies ahead. Life has a way of developing people before placing them into bigger assignments. The responsibilities, opportunities, and impact that many people desire require a level of strength, wisdom, and resilience that cannot be built overnight. Preparation often happens through experiences that stretch us, challenge us, and force us to grow beyond the limits we once believed defined us. Struggle has a unique way of shaping character. When everything is comfortable, it is easy to remain the same. We move through our routines without questioning our habits, our mindset, or our abilities. But when struggle enters our lives, it disrupts that comfort. It forces us to examine who we are and who we are becoming in the middle of struggle. You begin to develop patience. You learn how to endure seasons that do not change as quickly as you hoped they would. You learn how to keep moving forward, even when progress feels slow. Patience is not something that grows easily in comfortable moments. It grows when life requires you to trust the process, even when the outcome is not visible. Struggle also develops humility. When challenges arise, they remind us that we do not have complete control over every situation. They teach us to rely on wisdom, guidance, and faith instead of relying only on our own understanding. Humility allows us to grow because it opens the door to learning. Every obstacle you face carries a lesson that has the potential to prepare you for something greater. Sometimes the lesson is about resilience. Sometimes it is about discipline. Sometimes it is about learning how to stand strong in the face of opposition. And sometimes the lesson is about discovering gifts and abilities that were hidden beneath fear or doubt. Many people underestimate the importance of preparation. They focus only on the destination without recognizing the value of the journey that leads to it. They want the opportunity, the influence, the success, or the impact, but they do not always see the process that is necessary to sustain those things. Struggle prepares your mindset for future responsibilities. If life handed you certain opportunities before you were ready, the pressure of those opportunities might overwhelm you. The challenges you face today are building the mental and emotional strength required to handle the blessings and responsibilities of tomorrow. Sometimes the struggle you are experiencing is teaching you how to lead. Leadership often requires empathy, patience, and understanding. People who have never faced difficulty may struggle to guide others who are walking through hard seasons. But when you have experienced your own struggles, you gain the ability to relate to the pain, fear, and uncertainty that others may feel. Struggle also sharpens your awareness. You begin to recognize patterns in your life. You start to understand your weaknesses as well as your strengths. This awareness becomes valuable because it allows you to grow intentionally instead of repeating the same mistakes. There are moments when struggle will test your commitment to your purpose. When the path becomes difficult, you must decide whether your vision is strong enough to keep you moving forward. Those moments reveal the depth of your determination. They show whether your goals are simply wishes or whether they are rooted in a deeper sense of calling. Many great achievements are born from seasons of struggle. The challenges force people to think creatively, adapt to new circumstances, and develop perseverance. Without those struggles, the growth necessary to reach greater levels would never fully develop. Struggle also teaches gratitude. When you have walked through difficult seasons, you gain a deeper appreciation for moments of peace and progress. You recognize the value of opportunities that once seemed ordinary. You understand how far you have come because you remember where you once stood. The preparation that happens through struggle is often invisible to others. People may see the results later, but they do not always see the internal transformation that took place during the process. They may admire your strength, your confidence, or your wisdom without realizing that those qualities were shaped during seasons when life felt uncertain. Every challenge has the potential to build endurance. Endurance is the ability to continue moving forward, even when the path is long and the obstacles are many. It is the ability to remain focused on your purpose, even when progress feels slow. The struggles you face also deepen your understanding of perseverance. Perseverance is not about ignoring difficulty. It is about acknowledging the challenge and choosing to continue anyway. It is the quiet determination to take another step forward. Even when the journey feels exhausting, there are moments when the preparation will feel uncomfortable. Growth often requires leaving behind old habits, old mindsets, and sometimes even old environments. The struggle becomes the force that pushes you toward transformation. It challenges you to rise above limitations that once defined your thinking. Sometimes the struggle is teaching you how to trust the process of growth. Not every season will make sense while you are living through it. There will be moments when the purpose of the challenge is not immediately clear, but with time and reflection, many people begin to see how those experiences shaped them in ways they could not have imagined. The strength you develop through struggle becomes part of your foundation. It becomes the inner stability that allows you to face future challenges with greater confidence. It reminds you that you have already survived moments that once seemed impossible. Each struggle adds another layer of wisdom to your life. You begin to understand people more deeply. You learn how to respond to adversity with patience instead of panic. You discover that growth often comes disguised as difficulty. The person you are becoming through struggle is not the same person who first entered the challenge. Every lesson learned, every obstacle faced, every moment of perseverance adds to the preparation that is shaping your future, because every struggle carries the potential to prepare you for a greater assignment, an opportunity that requires the strength, resilience, and wisdom that can only be developed through the very challenges you are facing right now. Most people want growth, but very few people are comfortable with the process that produces it. Growth sounds beautiful when we talk about it, but the journey that leads to growth often involves discomfort, uncertainty, and pain. Many times we imagine that progress will come through easy victories and smooth paths, yet life often shapes us through resistance and challenges that test our patience and our faith. Pain has a way of getting our attention. When everything is comfortable, it is easy to move through life without examining our choices or questioning our direction. Comfort can sometimes create a false sense of stability where we stop pushing ourselves to become better. But when pain enters the picture, it interrupts that comfort and forces us to confront the areas of our lives that need growth. Resistance is one of the most powerful forces that leads to transformation. Just as muscles grow stronger when they face resistance during exercise, our character and mindset grow stronger when we face challenges that push against our limits. Without resistance, there would be very little reason to change or develop. Many of the lessons that shape our lives are learned during painful seasons. Those moments may involve disappointment, loss, rejection, or unexpected obstacles. In those experiences, we begin to see life differently. Our perspective begins to shift because pain has a way of revealing truths that comfort often hides. Pain can teach patience. When things do not happen as quickly as we hope, we are forced to wait and trust the process of time. Patience is not easy to develop because it requires us to release the need for immediate results. But through painful seasons, we slowly begin to understand that some growth cannot be rushed. Pain can also reveal the strength we carry inside. When life becomes difficult, we are pushed into situations where we must respond with courage. We may not feel ready, but the challenge demands that we rise above fear and move forward. Every time we face a painful moment and continue moving, we discover that we are capable of more than we once believed. Resistance also teaches perseverance. When obstacles appear repeatedly, it becomes tempting to give up. The mind begins to question whether the effort is worth the struggle. But perseverance develops when we choose to continue, even when the path becomes difficult. That choice strengthens our determination and deepens our commitment to growth. Growth through pain often requires self-reflection. When challenges arise, they invite us to look within ourselves. We begin to ask questions about our habits, our beliefs, and the direction of our lives. Those questions can lead to powerful changes because they encourage us to confront patterns that may have been holding us back. Sometimes pain exposes areas where healing is needed. There may be wounds from the past, unresolved emotions, or fears that have quietly shaped our decisions. Difficult seasons bring those hidden struggles to the surface. While that process can be uncomfortable, it also creates the opportunity for healing and transformation. Resistance can also build discipline. When life presents challenges, success often requires consistent effort and focus. Discipline helps us stay committed to growth even when motivation fades. It allows us to continue working toward improvement despite setbacks or slow progress. There are moments when pain will challenge our confidence. Failure, criticism, or rejection can make us question our abilities. Those experiences may shake our belief in ourselves, but they also create opportunities to rebuild that confidence on a stronger foundation. When confidence grows through overcoming obstacles, it becomes more resilient. Growth through resistance often reshapes the way we think. Instead of seeing obstacles as signs of defeat, we begin to view them as opportunities for development. Challenges become lessons rather than limitations. This shift in perspective allows us to approach life with greater courage and curiosity. Pain can also deepen empathy. When we experience our own struggles, we gain a greater understanding of the difficulties others face. That understanding helps us respond with compassion instead of judgment. Empathy strengthens relationships and creates a deeper sense of connection with the people around us. There are times when resistance will slow down our progress. Plans may not unfold as expected. Opportunities may take longer to appear. In those moments, it can feel frustrating, but delays often carry their own purpose. They provide time for preparation, reflection, and growth that might not happen during easier seasons. Pain also teaches resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover and continue after facing adversity. Each challenge we overcome strengthens this ability. With every obstacle, we build the mental and emotional strength needed to face future difficulties with greater stability. The journey of growth is rarely smooth or predictable. There will be moments of uncertainty where the path forward is not completely clear. Resistance can create doubt, but it can also sharpen focus. When distractions fade and the situation demands clarity, we often discover a deeper sense of purpose. Sometimes the pain we experience today becomes the wisdom we share tomorrow. The lessons learned through struggle can guide others who are walking through similar challenges. Our experiences become valuable because they carry insight that cannot be gained through theory alone. Growth through resistance also strengthens gratitude. When we have experienced difficult seasons, we begin to appreciate moments of peace and progress more deeply. The small victories feel more meaningful because we remember the challenges that once stood in our way. Pain may not always feel meaningful while we are experiencing it. In the moment, it can feel overwhelming and confusing. But many people eventually look back on their struggles and recognize how those moments shaped their character, strengthened their faith, and redirected their lives towards something better. Every challenge has the potential to refine us. Resistance pushes us to develop patience, courage, discipline, and resilience. Pain invites reflection, healing, and transformation. Together, they create the conditions that allow growth to take place. The person you become through pain and resistance is often stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than the person you were before the struggle began. Every difficult moment carries the possibility of shaping your character in ways that comfort alone could never accomplish, because growth often emerges from the places where life stretches us the most, where resistance challenges our limits and pain invites us to rise beyond the person we once believed we were capable of becoming. Sometimes the problems we face in life feel larger than our ability to handle them. Challenges appear unexpectedly. Circumstances shift beyond our control, and the weight of responsibility can make us feel small and uncertain. In those moments, it is easy to believe that the problem is stronger than we are, that the obstacle in front of us is too great, and that we do not have what it takes to overcome it. But one of the most powerful shifts a person can experience is realizing that the person they are becoming is stronger than the problem they are facing. Growth has a quiet way of transforming us. While we are focused on the difficulty of the moment, something inside of us is developing. Strength is forming through the decisions we make, the lessons we learn, And the resilience we build each time we refuse to give up problems often appear intimidating because we measure them against the version of ourselves we used to be. We remember our past fears, our past failures, and the moments when we doubted our own ability. The person you were in the past is not the same person you are today. Every challenge you have faced has added something to your character. Every struggle has expanded your capacity to endure. Life has a way of shaping people through experience. The difficulties you have already survived have strengthened your perspective. You may not always notice the change immediately, but it becomes visible when a new problem appears and you respond with a courage that once seemed impossible. The person you are becoming is learning how to think differently about obstacles. Instead of immediately seeing them as barriers, you begin to recognize them as situations that require patience, wisdom, and perseverance. The problem may still be difficult, but your response becomes stronger because your mindset has evolved. Growth changes the way you approach fear. Fear may still appear, but it no longer controls every decision. You begin to understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. Each time you face a fear and continue moving, your confidence grows. Many problems seem overwhelming because they demand skills or qualities that we have not fully developed yet. But life has a way of teaching those skills through experience. When a challenge requires patience, you learn patience. When a challenge requires resilience, you develop resilience. The process of facing the problem is often the process that produces the strength needed to overcome it. There are moments when problems force us to grow emotionally. Situations involving conflict, disappointment, or loss may challenge our ability to remain calm and thoughtful. Through those experiences, we begin to develop emotional maturity. We learn how to respond instead of reacting impulsively. We learn how to manage our thoughts and emotions with greater awareness. The person you are becoming is also learning how to maintain focus during uncertainty. Problems often create confusion because they disrupt our plans and expectations. The future becomes unclear, and the path forward may not be obvious. But growth teaches you how to take one step at a time. Even when the entire journey is not visible, confidence often grows through evidence. Every problem you face and survive becomes proof that you are capable of handling difficulty. Those experiences build a quiet confidence that cannot be easily shaken. When a new challenge appears, you remember the battles you have already fought and the resilience that carried you through them. Many people underestimate the power of perseverance. Problems may not disappear immediately, and solutions may require patience and consistent effort. Perseverance allows you to continue searching for answers even when progress feels slow. It reminds you that growth is often happening beneath the surface. The person you are becoming is also learning how to adapt. Problems rarely unfold exactly the way we expect. They may require creative thinking, flexibility, and the willingness to explore new approaches. Adaptability becomes a strength because it allows you to navigate changing circumstances without losing your sense of purpose. Every challenge carries the opportunity to deepen your understanding of yourself. You begin to notice how you respond under pressure. You recognize your strengths and the areas where you still need growth. This awareness allows you to develop intentionally instead of simply reacting to circumstances. The problems you face today may also prepare you for situations you will encounter in the future. The lessons learned during difficult seasons often become valuable tools later in life. What once felt like a struggle may eventually become the experience that helps you guide others or make wiser decisions. Growth also reshapes your sense of identity. Instead of defining yourself by your past limitations, you begin to recognize your potential. You understand that the challenges you face are not permanent definitions of who you are. They are temporary situations that invite you to rise into a stronger version of yourself. There are times when the problem will still feel heavy. Growth does not remove every difficulty, but it changes the way you carry those difficulties. You develop patience when solutions take time. You develop resilience when setbacks occur. You develop determination when progress requires consistent effort. The person you are becoming understands that problems are part of the journey of life. They are not signs that you are incapable or unworthy. They are opportunities to apply the strength, wisdom, and courage that have been developing through your experiences. Each challenge you face becomes part of your story. It adds depth to your character and strengthens your perspective. The lessons you learn through difficulty shape the way you see the world and the way you respond to future obstacles. Over time, you begin to realize that many of the problems that once seemed impossible were actually moments that helped reveal your strength. They forced you to grow, to think differently, and to trust your ability to move forward. Even when the path was uncertain, the person you are becoming continues to evolve with every experience. Each lesson adds wisdom. Each challenge builds resilience. Each moment of perseverance strengthens your confidence, because the strength you are developing is not temporary. It becomes part of who you are. It shapes the way you approach life, the way you face uncertainty, and the way you respond when new obstacles appear. And as that strength continues to grow, you begin to see that the problems in front of you no longer define your limits, because the person you are becoming carries a resilience, courage, and determination that is greater than the obstacles standing in your path. So if you are in the middle of a battle right now, feeling tired, feeling stretched, feeling like the pressure is too much, remember this truth. The fight you are in is not meaningless. Every challenge is shaping you. Every struggle is strengthening you. Every moment you refuse to give up is building a version of you that is stronger than the one who started this journey. You may not see all the changes happening inside you yet, but growth is taking place. Your patience is growing. Your resilience is growing. Your faith is growing. The very things that once made you feel weak are now becoming the places where your strength is being formed. One day you will look back at this season and realize that the battle did not destroy you. It developed you. It pushed you to rise higher, think deeper, and stand stronger than you ever thought possible. So keep moving forward, keep believing, keep standing even when it feels hard, because the battle you are fighting today is producing a stronger, wiser, and more powerful version of you.